What's up, everyone? This is Ronnie coming to you today from good old Cape Cod. And we're going to talk today about basically one of the probably the biggest question I get is, can I sell on eBay full time? And it's like, there's so many variables that go into this. So we're going to talk about some of them and kind of go over it a little bit. And I'm going to talk about my experience. And I'm going to talk about at the end my one probably biggest problem that I have or I had starting out. And we'll go from there and we'll talk about things at the end of the video. You know, if anybody has any questions, we can talk about some stuff. You know, if you have any questions, leave them for the end. Because once I get going, I like to keep going. But thank you all for coming out on a Sunday afternoon. I know I haven't been around much lately. Life is officially back in the Dominican Republic for the next 7 weeks. So I guess I'm a bachelor again. I don't know what happens. I mean, I went to the grocery store, and I don't know if this happens to other people, but you find yourself walking down the frozen food aisle looking for food when you're by yourself. Not good. Just say I left the grocery store. I ain't eating no frozen pizza. But you know, is what it is. We'll get over it. We'll move on. And I'll find some good food. But that was really off topic. You know, I know when I went full time back in November of 2014. I wind up quitting my job. I had a terrible experience. I wind up walking out of my job, basically. I had an argument, walked out. That was the end of it. And it happened kind of over a few different times. I worked in a restaurant, and restaurant business is hard. Was there 18 years, basically nowhere to go. Wasn't going to make any more money than I was already making. I was making probably, I think it was around $60,000 a year. So, I mean, at some point, especially where me and my wife live on Cape Cod, it's expensive. You know, it's expensive than other places. And there's other places that are even more expensive than where we are. You know, so we all start somewhere with reselling, and kind of understanding your expenses is a big thing. Our expenses have actually grown as we become more full-time. As before we had a health insurance, now I have to pay out of pocket for health insurance. My truck is more expensive. You know, I bought a new truck and it costs more money. My insurance is always high because I'm a speed demon. I get more tickets and more accidents than anybody I know. And Golden Finger Picker would tell you that he's terrified to drive with me in a car. UK in the house. That's what's up. But anyway, again, totally off track here. But understand your expenses. Our outgoing expenses now, because the apartment in the Dominican Republic is added into that. We send money in to pay taxes every month now. That's kind of in that, I guess. So, I mean, looking at about $4,500 to probably around $4,500 a month going out between rent, utilities, cell phone, health insurance, truck payment, car insurance. Like I said, second place. You know, all this adds up. So one thing I would do when you start off, you got to make sure you start off nice and lean, kind of in a way. You know, if you had a decent car, I would not, if you were thinking about going full time, I would not think about going out and buying a new car and stuff like that. I would try to get by the best you could, try to keep it very you know, as kind of lean as you could. You know, a lot of people talk about starting off with a chunk of money. I recommend that. I think that's a good idea to have some money set aside to do this, because you're going to run into deals. You're going to hit the pavement. You're going to find people. You're going to be out there, and you're going to want to spend money to make money. It's the bottom line. If you don't have it, it's hard to make it. Um, so you kind of want to just keep it at that point. You want to save up some money for hiccups in your business, as there will be some. You could have, all kinds of all kinds of things, like, your car could have issues. If you're not handy, you're gonna have to go to the dealership. Costs lots of money. Who knows? Maybe you own a house. You could have all kinds of issues go wrong with your house. Um, you could get sick and be out of work technically for a few weeks working for yourself, because who else is going to do the work if you're not? You know, so you have to put some money aside really for that. And for a lot of resellers, I mean, they don't do it 100%. I mean, they're doing it full time, but they also have usually another income coming in from a spouse, husband or wife, is usually they're making some money. So it's not 100 total percent reliant on that business. Me and my wife, we rely on this 100%. And there's other few resellers that I can, who, let me, hold on, let me see. There are some other resellers that are 100% business related, do this 100%, no other income coming in. Dallas Moore's one, him and his wife do this full time, and they have a whole horde of employees, the last I remember. Brock Parks, if I remember right, he does this full time. Yeah. Full time for both family, husband and wife, both doing it. Nicole and Joe State, they do this full time, and make good money. Hate to say this, but Alabama Pickers are also another one. Can't think of anybody. It doesn't matter. I mean, we could go naming here all day long, and but you want to get your expenses down. You want to have some money set aside for these kind of things. Does she? I didn't know that. All day grubber. Good to know. Brock's wife's works. He needs to make more videos, homeboy, Mr. Brock Parks. If you listen to Brock, make more videos. What else? I mean, now, if you want to do this full time, I would suggest doing it part time a little bit. Build the business up with it if you could afford it. Throw the rest of the money back into the business to get it up there, because you really want to make money, and it's kind of hard to start going into this kind of like with just enough money to get by, because you're kind of just flipping the money over and over and over, and it's kind of almost gets into a redundant part of just, it's like working for the man, and you're working paycheck to paycheck, and God, forgive, you have a hiccup in your everything falls apart. It's like a dominoes. They just go everywhere. Sold something. But anyway, all day grub. I ain't hating on anybody. No reason to hate. I got no time for that. But you got to start a plan also. I'm going to be all over the place. Start it, because I don't have a list. I should do this stuff with a list, but I will make sense. That's why I did this live, because if anybody has any question at the end, we could talk about it. Make a plan. You want to know kind of what you need to do this full time, how much money you need to make, how much money profit you're going to need to make, how much money to spend. You want to make sure you have space in your house for this, or maybe you need to buy a storage unit, maybe you rent a storage unit, maybe you need to have maybe you have enough money to rent a warehouse. If you live, we've had a warehouse, we've had storage units. They all have their different pros and cons for the most part. We're actually looking for another warehouse at the moment. But too many things were up in the air. As most of you know, we had some issues with family recently, um, issues in our family plan. So everything's on hold right now. We're kind of seeing where everything plays out over the next few months. You know, but you kind of want to build your business up though and get it going. And then it's like once you get there and you start to you can kind of make the same money. It's very easy to put money aside, but I was going to say buy down your debt, but you know, try to get into this with little debt as possible. Now, cars and houses, that's a different story. That's good debt, right? Debt. Oh boy. You know, as $10,000 on a credit card is bad debt. Bad, no good debt. So you want to make sure you have certain things set up, and also experiment with selling on different platforms. I'm mostly eBay, but I do make money on eBay, Facebook, Amazon, Craigslist. There's certain things I sell on certain platforms to make money. Sell a lot of signs and stuff like that on Facebook groups and on Craigslist. And then there's certain things we sell on Amazon. It's like we're going out to the stores. If you see something, that might not sell on eBay, but it's going to sell on Amazon. I'm going to sell it on Amazon, make that money. But I understand a lot of people are not going to have money to save. A lot of people are going to have to jump in this because they lost a job or something happened. And you know what? It can be done. We did it. I came into this business probably with about 15,000 saved, and just it didn't help because I took a 5-week vacation and we spent a good chunk of money. Me and my wife were just talking about that the other day. It was like the worst. You know what? We're gonna go full time and let's take 5 weeks off and relax, and then go into it. And it's like you come back and you're like, okay, bills need to be paid, honey. But it's kind of funny. My wife recently was offered a job through JetBlue. She's been trying to get a job for JetBlue probably for about 4 years. That's like her dream job. I sometimes think my wife is not cut out for full-time employment, and not everybody is. She had to actually turn the job down, but it would have been she would have made a nice $50,000-$60,000 if she took that job. And if you have that money coming in, it would have been a lot more. I would have been a lot more stressful, which I could take a lot more chances on a lot of different things. I could actually throw more money into the business. But it doesn't matter. You can do this either way, but you really have to love this to do this. You can't treat this like another job. So, start it off slow, come up with a plan. What's the word I want to use? Kind of work start a routine. I'm going to go out this day, this day, this day. I'm going to list this day, this day. The newest thing I see everybody talking about is employees. Like, people want to spend more time on YouTube making videos, but it's like, max out your ability to source and list before you start hiring. I mean, some people have great ideas. Well, I should say good ideas, and it all depends, but, a lot of people have to, like, I think, for like Nicole State, for instance, they have to hire somebody because it seems like they're working like 16-hour days, which is crazy. I mean, you need, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because employees can misfire in your business. They can actually slow you down if you're reliant on them, and then all of a sudden they don't want to work. You got to train somebody else. So, I mean, that's why I focus. If you ever watch what we sell higher dollar items. Most of our items, most sell-throughs are between $50 and $60 every month. That's what we try to sell. Um, so we need only 180, 200 things every month to sell to get to 10,000 where I want to be. Could I sell more? Yes. I only have to list to maintain that. On average, 50 things a week. Very manageable. Now, if you're selling things at, a lot of these resellers like Christopher Lynn's another one. He has that 10, 10, 10 thing, wants to get to 10,000 listings. God be with you. But 10,000 listings seems crazy. But if he's able to make the money, in the end, it will be a reward. But I don't want to start talking about other people's businesses. But, another big thing about understanding is bookkeeping. You have to understand bookkeeping. You have to understand what you can write off, what you can't. Hire a CPA. If you're going to try to replace your income and you're not really that fond, you're not that good with doing taxes or doing your own bookkeeping, hire a bookkeeper. Go to the local college. Usually they have, or if you want to do it yourself, go to local college. Usually there's courses on taxes and bookkeeping, and usually they're cheap, if not free, especially for business owners. I mean, you gotta work on this, and you gotta do certain things in a certain way, and you could learn things as you go. You don't have to think you need to learn everything in the front and then, okay, I think I'm all set now. Form a corporation, get a tax ID, get all this crazy stuff in the front. So you're already in the hole before you even start selling anything. Like, sell first. See if it's good for you. See if you like it. See if you enjoy it, But bookkeeping is a big thing. Understanding what you can write off with, like, a sense of vehicles, mileage. You can only write off one or the other. I have a CPA, that's a tax CPA actually. She does my taxes and everything like that. We started sending money in now, so hopefully we don't have any more big tax issues, come up where we owe shitload of money every year, and it becomes a headache, and it becomes a strain on your income when you owe, because sometimes you don't set aside mentally. You think, oh, I gotta put aside some money, but how many times does mentally not translate to actually doing the action? But yeah, I mean, more money you have, the more opportunity you can have to buy and go on and stuff and do this. But I'll answer your question at the end. But hold on one second. Lost my train of thought. But I mean, most of us as resellers, we start off with the most random things. Almost every reseller has either started with books, mugs, I hate fucking mugs, sorry, and clothing. We started off with books. We started off selling on Amazon. Didn't like it. Was not fun whatsoever. Not sure about that, Mr. Manuel. No idea. But you want to. I forget what I was talking about. Oh yeah, we all start with someone. We started off with books and had fun with it, but it totally got very tiring and bored with it very quickly. And then we sold a bunch on Amazon, and we all know the story. I blew the engine in my truck, needed money, decided, oh, let's learn clothes because there's so much clothes at a thrift store. I mainly focus on men's clothing, everything from suits to ties to shirts to pants to shoes. That's mainly what I focus on. We do come across some men's stuff, but when we go out and buy stuff too, I want it, especially that I have to get a 3 times my return on my money for the most part. I mean, when it gets up to high dollar things, after we start spending 50, $100, if I know that stuff can come back quicker, I will spend double my money. But buying something for $5, I got to make like 25, $30 at the end of the day. I mean, sometimes it goes a little lower, can't help it. And sometimes I buy that stuff at, half off day, $2, $3, chicken eggs. Somebody else started with chicken eggs on eBay too back in the day. That would be something I couldn't even think you could sell. Um, what else? Health insurance is a crazy thing being self-employed. Um, I can tell you right now, health insurance for me was scary. We actually went a year without health insurance because we couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford the 500 and something bucks a month. And I just said, knock on wood, where's the wood at? Because we lucked out and nobody got sick that year. I think I went to the clinic, but I mean, you go to the clinic, you spend $200, the walk-in clinic, and so be it. You walk out, you pay a little bit of money, it's fine. I mean, it would have been beat instead of paying that $6,000 over the course of the year. But not having insurance has its issues too, because like we're going through with my mother-in-law right now. She went to the hospital and her bill for 6 days in the hospital is $52,000. And as some of that will be covered, it's not going to be covered, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's just the way of the game, but you don't want those people coming after you for that money. You want to be really careful, because I mean, somebody owed $50,000, that would affect you for what, the next 5 years, 10 years. I mean, it's basically a car payment. It's basically a brand new car. So you really want to be careful. I mean, eBay supposedly offers health insurance to power sellers, but I have no idea how that works. I've never met anybody that's actually done it. I would actually be interested in how it works. Maybe I will look into it. I have health insurance for the last 2 years through Massachusetts, through whatever it is, through the health connector thingy, and we pay a good chunk of money for it, but I needed surgery done, so getting surgery done probably the end of May. So what you gonna do when the doctor comes looking for you, sucker? Yeah, so I mean, I'm covering most of this stuff. I think we covered everything, did we not? I mean, I think we covered it. If anybody has any questions, put them over there. I'm going to talk to you about what my biggest issue, I think, has been with biggest thing with my business is probably my income, because I didn't ever had that huge amount. Like people say, oh, have a year's salary, have 5 years or 6 months salary set aside. I mean, for me, you would have been talking even a few years ago. I mean, 3,500. You would have been looking at 20 to. We actually had 15, but then we spent a whole shitload of it on vacation. Go figure. So, I mean, if you're looking at like that, depending on how you live, that could be anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month. For a year, that's $24,000 to $60,000 if you want to put that stuff aside. So there's a good chunk of money, but it can be done if you're doing this part time. Putting in the listing, putting in the work. You could actually save that money up. It's kind of crazy, but but I mean, we didn't do it. And that's probably our biggest problem, because sometimes I'll come across things and I maybe not have the capital available to use it. I'm not a credit big person. I don't have a huge amount of credit cards. I have 2 credit cards. One's with, like, $500, no, 750, and another one's with it's American Express card, but you gotta pay it back basically every month if you guys know how that card works. So, I mean, I could use that if I wanted to, but shit, my shit better sell within a short period of time to get that money back, to put back into my business. I mean, I don't recommend using credit cards because I see people get into debt with that stuff, but if you had the cash, you would be good. And then you always have, what's the you could do the you've heard people talk about, what do you wanna call it? The loans, like, what's the one? Cabbage, I think the name of it is. What is the name of that thing? Is it Cabbage? Cabbage. I wasn't sure if that was the name. I mean, that one's, like, crazy ridiculous. I remember people talking about that, and I looked at it, and it was, like, 25% interest. I mean, you would if you started borrowing, you would be so far behind probably in a lot of you'd be paying out. I mean, people can make it work, I guess. I'm trying to think of the other one. The other one, PayPal. Yeah, that's it. Treasure going PayPal working capital. I always want to think it's eBay, but it's actually through PayPal. I've heard people do that. Some people do good, some people do bad. But I mean, the thing about that is, let's say you borrow, I don't know, how much money can you borrow on that? Let's say $10,000, because I've only known like one person that's ever used that before in my life. You use $10,000, but let's say now, if you're kind of strapped for business, you made a few bad buys, and they're taking out, I don't know, what do they take out? 25% of your income. So let's just use my math. Let's say I have $10,000 in sales, and my son doesn't believe you are alive, Ronnie. And you shout to Ireland, half ass pickup. But anyway, I think there's a percentages that you could use, but if you're using $10,000 and then you have, uh, what's the word? You're making 5,000 now profit, but eBay is now taking out 25% of that, so that's another $1,200 coming out every month. You kind of have to make up for that difference. So now in the end, you're going to need to do about 13,000 to cover that extra money coming out. And let's say the slow months in the summer, especially for us clothing sellers, that could become a big struggle, I guess. So I mean, if you knew what you were doing, you could borrow that money, but you got to really know what you're doing. What's up, Mr. Sadie? Coco in the house, the bearded picker. I could change my name to that. As somebody else, though, anyway. I gotta have to shave this because I have to get a passport picture. My passport is expired. And yeah, if I went looking like this, they'd probably be stopping me every time I went through the airport. It's a baby beard. I've been growing it for a while, and the wife hates it. I think I got everything. I think if anybody else can think about anything in the next few minutes, anybody got any questions? Hope everybody's doing well. The temperature here today was almost 60 and sunny. Loving it. So, I mean, that's about it. But weather's good. Hopefully I'll start making some more videos now. I'm here all alone by myself. How many listings am I running? I am running about, I think it was 650 listings there, Mr. Ken. My store is now leaner and meaner. We've had 1,000 listings before, and we're selling on average 150 to 200. We cut our listings down to about 600, 600. I'll say between 6 and 700, and we still sell about the same. So I cut out a lot of crap that doesn't sell that great, slow movers, stuff like that, and just constantly, you know, being more picky with what we get. What do you get a INE number as a sole proprietor to start out? I think you have to get a EIN number if you have a business, so I think you cannot do it with a sole proprietor. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you need to have at least a LLC or a V Corp or S Corp. Which one is it? I'm going to go with S Corp for that. You know, Mr. Sadie, that is a good question. How much of my inventory comes from retail stores? Probably, I would say most of the newer tag items I get are from retail stores. Right now I have 655 items. If I go here, click on this button, and newer tags items, I have 165. So 20%, maybe 25. I'll say 20%. I'll say 18 to 20% because we do find some newer tag items in the thrift stores. So yeah, most of the stores that we shop from are either TJ Maxx or Marshalls, for the most part, and buy stuff on clearance, resell it. And for the newer tag stuff, I got to get at least double my money, just in case anybody returns something without the tags. It's only happened to us one time with everything we've ever sold, but you know, what are you going to fight with somebody because something doesn't fit? And I took the tags off. It's like, yeah, no problem. Let's return it. I have a very lenient return policy, which probably counts for a little more returns than normal, but it is what it is. But I mean, if you're full time too, by any means, if you're going to do this full time, just don't be reliant on thrift stores. Make sure you check out storage auctions, something I do not do. Look like way too much work for me. Way too much work. Regular auctions, love auctions. Great stores. Great stores. great places to pick up stuff. If you know what you're doing with a smartphone, go there before, check it out. You could even look online and do some research. Great places to score stuff. I just scored some stuff actually at an online auction in New York, some gasoline and oil stuff. So I'm excited to be getting that probably in the next week. Unfortunately, I'm keeping most of it. I may sell one piece to make back the money for the other pieces. But let me see here. Auctions, what are the estate sales? I love estate sales. Don't be scared off by estate sales. Go to a few of them. I know people will be like, hey, this store is a lot of money. This estate sale company. You'll get accustomed to what estate sales charge for what stuff. You want to stay away from companies that say they sell stuff on eBay. Stay away. Because they're not going to try to get the lowest price because they're going to maximize their profits by selling that stuff on eBay. Or they have a store, a consignment store. I don't try to go to those stores as much. Those estate sale run companies. We have probably 7 companies around us, so it just depends on whatever company's running whatever, and kind of depends for the thing. What else do we have here? You can online, Craigslist, OfferUp. What's the other one? Let's go. There we go. I see it in the chat. You know, those ones very are very good. I've never really had that much luck with them. I think where we are located, being an hour from Boston, an hour from Providence, we're kind of shoved off. If you ever been to Cape Cod or seen it, where that little piece of land that sticks out, you know, got to get to us by two bridges. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to get off and on Cape Cod sometimes, especially in the summertime. And we're kind of stuck out here by our own. And driving into Boston's not easy. So, let me see here. So, I mean, for the most part, I mean, you can get stuff yard sales if you live in the right, like the right places, and you can get stuff from yard sales and stuff like that. I mean, great places to pick stuff up. I love yard sales. Like, it's 60 and sunny today. I'm thinking, well, maybe not next week because it's Easter, and I'll probably be back home in New York chilling with my family. I don't want to spend on Easter. Last Easter, I was alone because my wife had to go to the Dominican Republic, and I wind up going to Savers thrift store. So if anybody knows, Savers were open on Easter. They were in Massachusetts anyway, and there was nobody in the stores. Let me see here. What is your best thrift store find? I found multiple things, probably in that $500 to $600 range, like a Buccinelli, Cacelli, something like that. I'm murdering that name. Killed it. Stabbed it a few different times. But there was a leather and suede jacket. Got $620 for it. Some suits I've gotten in the $500-600 range, like a Brioni and a chitin, Laurel Piana, the brand, not the fabric, cashmere. You know, my wife found this vintage Polo Ralph Lauren P-wing sweater cardigan, and we got $720 for that. So, I mean, you could make money on clothing. There was a thing going around the other day that somebody picked up a Masters jacket that was worn. That was, you know, they give out the Masters jacket because it is Masters time right now. And they give out the jacket to people, and this jacket was probably from the 50s, I guess. It sold for $139,000 for a $5 jacket that was found at a thrift store 20 years ago. Go figure. There's crazy money. People have found crazy things like Vince Lombardi's sweater and got 20 grand for it. I mean, there's crazy stuff to be found in thrift stores. People finding silver and the paintings. Every once in a while, somebody finds some painting that's like crazy money. All day grubber. How do you people not wash the clothes they buy before they list? 90% of my clothing are. You know what? All day grubber, deal grubber. Depends on where you're buying your stuff from. If I was buying my stuff from the bins, I would be cleaning stuff. When I buy stuff at thrift stores, if stuff is, I don't, I a lot of the clothing, if it looks like it needs to be clean, I'm probably leaving it behind. I don't want to make that much work for myself. Almost everything I buy, I would say 50% or more, still have the dry cleaner tags on them. Like, either they were in somebody's closet, it was dry cleaned, they dropped it off, or the dry cleaners, you know, they sometimes unpicked up merchandise does go to a lot of thrift stores. They write it off. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff there. I'm not looking for somebody's dingy old dirty clothing. I mean, if I had to do loads of clothing, you know how much time and effort that would add into your business. And I'm not sure why people love asking that question. That's a crazy question. Do you agree that you have to list every day or eBay will push down your listings? I hope not, because I list really once a day. I mean, yeah, I list one day a week usually. And my sales, I mean, like anybody, you can't control your sales. But if you're listing you're gonna get sales because you're listing more stuff. If it's not listed, it ain't making you money. But the whole everyday list stuff thing, I'm not a believer. I know people would probably argue me. I could probably bring all these people on right now. They're gonna argue with me. And, oh my God, you're so wrong with that. What's your favorite soup brand? Favorite soup brand? Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite soup brand. I mean, there's certain brands that go for a lot of money, but you just don't find them every day, like Brioni or Chitin. But I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find one or two a year, probably. I mean, maybe get lucky, find a few that somebody just dropped off. But you know what? The favorite ones are the ones that make my bread and butter sales. Ralph Lauren's, the Brooks Brothers, so many different uh, models and different sub brands under those two that you can make some really good money just by selling the sub brands and stuff like that. Uh, Mr. Sadie, buy any porcelain signs at that auction? I did buy a small sign for a lubricator, probably 20s, early. And I do have another sign that I bought a while back, a 5 foot uh, Goodyear sign coming in early sign too. Um, has a little damage to it. Uh, can remember the Vince McMahon suits. I found three in total Vince McMahon sport coats and two pair of pants that have belonged to him. And another local reseller has did find like 20 pairs of pants, and she found a leather jacket that was owned by him. I went one day, found a few things. The next day, they brought out all that stuff, and she got lucky. I was trying to buy stuff from her, and she flipped the hell out on me on eBay. Sent me this crazy message. But I did sell two of them. I got like 400 and 200 for them for the sport coats. I have another one now that I found a while ago, probably in the summer. But you know, still listed. I've listened to offers, but if you went on eBay and put in Vince McMahon and put in what's the thing? Put in Vince McMahon and Zegna, because that's the suit I guess he likes of choice. There's actually a few on there like all the time. People buy and sell them. I mean, he must it must be a tag. I mean, he's a billionaire, right? I mean, WWF, it's $1 billion. He's a billionaire, I think. What's up, Krillin? But I mean, full time it's a struggle at times. It's definitely a struggle. It's a hustle. You got to hustle to make money. Um, you know, plus size stuff does well. I mean, bigger men's stuff is harder to sell. I mean, harder to find. So there's a market for it. I mean, I'm a big guy. I wear, you know, bigger clothing. It is what it is. Um, and I can tell you right now, going to certain stores, there's not a huge market of what you get to buy. Really isn't. Is what it is, but it's a good market because a lot of bigger people, they don't want to go to stores and try on clothes. They buy their stuff online and so on and so forth. And stuff usually sells fairly good. You could even get not so brands, and they will actually sell fairly decent. You know, better if you have a better name behind the brand. Yeah, it does sell a little bit better. But even the brands that you've never even heard of, people will buy them just because, hey, it's something interesting. People will look and try to get sport coats. You start looking in the sport coats in that like bigger range, like 60, 62, 64. I mean, I don't know, those are some big boy big boy stuff. But it does sell. Krillin, Ronnie, did you ever sell a band of Outfitters suit? I didn't see much of a comps. I have found a shirt by them, never a suit. I found some suits by some odd company in the Air Supply, I think it was, or Suit Supply, maybe it was, and they actually sold fairly quickly and had a lot of watchers. Now I'm curious if Air Supply is the band, right? Oh boy, Air Supply. Where's Chad? Chad, you listen to some Air Supply? No, it was not Air Supply. It must have been Suit Supply. It was Suit Supply. But I want to thank you all for coming out, watching this. I'm gonna get this going. See you guys later. Have a good day, everybody. You'll see a lot more of me over the next few weeks because all by myself. But I gotta get some stuff listed. I gotta move some stuff around. Gotta hustle, gotta work because it's a full-time grind. See you guys later. Have a good. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment after if you're watching this and you have a question maybe I didn't cover or a question. See you later. Have a good day.